for joining us today and welcome to my sewing room. Today's show will have lots of exciting techniques, mainly concerning scallops, scalloped lace, scalloped skirts. I'd like to share with you a few lovely ideas showing you where you can use these wonderful scallops. The first dress I'm going to show you is a very lovely christening dress, baptismal gown, blessing dress, or baby dedication dress. Do you see these lovely scallops which travel down the front of the dress? And then the scallops which are in the dress? And look once again at the bottom. Here are more scallops on the skirt of this dress. Today you are going to learn how to make those. It's fun and it's easy. The next dress I have to show you has scalloped lace that goes all around the skirt and also goes all around the collar. This is very easy to make and I think very elegant. The next little dress I'm going to show you is a real beauty. This dress features scalloped lace around this lovely little bib. This is called a pinafore bib, by the way. One of our most popular features to go over a dress for a little girl. And look at this lovely scalloped lace on the skirt, and then these lovely scalloped pin tucks, which in a later show in the series, I will show you how to make these lovely scalloped pin tucks also. Today is the scalloped lace day. This dress for an older girl, which features several different colors of Swiss batiste, has lovely curved lace, almost in a scallop design on the bodice. Very tailored for the older girl. This little yellow dress is one of my favorites of all times. Do you see it has scalloped lace around the hem, which makes a really sweet scallop skirt? It has scalloped lace around the bodice. This little dress is very easy to make. It is also French sewing on a budget because it really doesn't have that much lace on it. This little dress has a little scalloped peplum. It has scalloped lace around the hem, scalloped pin tucks, and little bows on the scalloped collar. This dress is absolutely elegant for the older girl. It has scallops along the bodice, scalloped pin tucks, and the skirt has a lovely scalloped feature right in the center of the skirt. I would like to go over to the teaching boards now to get the teaching lesson ready to show you how easy it is to make elegant creations like these using scalloped lace. Much of the work for making a lace-shaped scallop is done before you ever go to the sewing machine. Let me show you how you make a lace pinning board. This particular one has 2 fabric boards from the fabric store taped together and then covered with a piece of muslin. That's an easy and inexpensive one to make. You can also go to your local discount store and get a child's bulletin board, cover it with fabric, or simply typing paper will do. Just staple it on. If you have a building supply place handy, a ceiling tile will work nicely also. Be sure you cover it with your muslin. And a pizza board will also work just as well, or else a cake board from the bakery. In making lace scallops, one of the first things you have to do is to draw off the template and draw the little lines bisecting the points where I'm going to turn around. I come in, I put pins on the large side of the curve, leaving this side a little floppy. Then when I get to the corner, I bring it up in the way it would fall naturally, put a pin at the top and a pin at the bottom, and I fold the lace back on itself. On itself is important, and remove the pin that goes through 2 layers, and then voila, that little miter is folded in and I start again. On this particular segment, the pins have been put in, pin at the top, pin at the bottom, but what am I going to do with this area that was a little floppy? There is a pull thread. French and English laces have about 5 pull threads built into the lace. I pull one of them. Actually, the thread that makes a scallop on the top is the easiest one to pull. So I pull the thread, it lays down. Now, how am I going to attach this lace? I'm going to simply zigzag it. I zigzag the top, I zigzag the bottom, and then later I cut away the fabric from behind this to make it peekaboo. How do I make this into a scallop skirt? I come along and I trim away. Do you see, if I'm going to make a scallop skirt, I trim it away after zigzagging the top. I trim away the fabric, and then I'm going to attach entredot to the fabric. All right, now then, after I have attached entredot, I've zigzagged the top, I've attached entredot. The little seam allowance of the entredot needs to be cut away, and now it is time to put the lovely gathered lace edging on the edge. Do you remember I told you about the pull threads in the French laces? Once again, the edging has a pull thread also. Let me pull this up here so you can see the thread that I have pulled and gather the lace. And after I've gathered the lace, I simply butt the lace together with the entredot, and then I zigzag all the way around the bottom, attaching the gathered lace to the trimmed entredot. That is absolutely how simple and easy it is to make a lace scallop skirt, or to make a scalloped lace in the body of the dress somewhere, such as on a pinafore. And I'm going to show you how to sew this by going to our quilt square, which is next. As you might remember from the last show, we're doing a quilt square on each show, showing you what the technique is that is featured. This quilt square today on our lovely sampler quilt has the scalloped lace, one row, another row, another row, and another row. I would like to show you how this quilt square is made. The template for this quilt square is right here. The two rows are drawn together. The line is in the middle so you will know where to fold your lace. And now let me just demonstrate what you put underneath. Before I start sewing, I have to use a stabilizer. This is the kind that just tears apart when you pull it from the back of your fabric. Now, on my pinning board that we learned how to make just a few minutes ago, I would like to demonstrate putting the pins into the board. And do you remember when we pull the lace to make it lay down flat? Here we go, pull the little string. I have come in, put a pin at the top, a pin at the bottom, refolded it, and I will simply come on around the edge to put the pins in the large side, and then I will pull the string, and now I want to show you how to get this fabric off of the board. All right, after I have spray starched and pressed it while the pins are still in it, pull that pin out, I simply remove the pins one at a time. I simply remove them one at a time, maybe even two at a time, and pin it flat. And I'm going to go ahead and just pull these off so I can begin sewing for you. Now then, I have all of this pinned. I'm ready to put my stabilizer underneath it. You know why I'm using stabilizer underneath this? Because the stitch I'm doing is called a wing needle entredot stitch. Now, if your sewing machine does not have this stitch built in, you can simply zigzag. The only kind of sewing machine you need for heirloom sewing, for lace shaping, is a machine that has two stitches, straight and zigzag. That is it. But if you're so fortunate as to have one of these lovely machines, I'm going to show you a little bit about wing needle entredot stitching. Now, you probably already know, do not sew over your pins. This is not good on any sewing machine. All right, wing needle entredot stitching. Entredot normally comes from Switzerland, and the beautiful part about today's wonderful computer machines is that they have had this lovely entredot stitch built in. There is a little bit of a secret to stitching wing needle entredot in a curve, and you're not going to believe what it is. You sew straight. You sew as straight as you can for as long as you can, and then you veer the fabric just a little bit. And you'll say, well, Martha, that seems a little bit crazy. How do you sew straight in a curve? Well, you just do. Now then, I don't know whether I've got, maybe I'll stitch a little bit more so you can see this beautiful wing needle entredot is being stitched in. Now then, I'm going to go just as fast as I want to go. This is such a beautiful stitch. But do you have to have the wing needle entredot stitch to do lace shaping? No, you do not. Let me remove this just a second. Let me just show you what this looks like. Do you see this lovely entredot stitch? Do you see how beautiful this wing needle entredot stitch attached the lace to this lovely quilt square? Thank you. I would like now to go over to the teaching boards to perhaps show you another example of using scallops on a lady's tailored garment. This particular platter collar, as I call it, has no scallops. It's just a plain collar. I'd like to show you how, by using this particular pattern, I can change this collar into a beautiful scalloped collar. Right here I have the collar platter drawn off. Then the scallops are drawn off on this pattern. As I go over to where I have the collar actually drawn off, cut out, you can see I've shaped the laces, putting the pins in the actual scallop. I've folded the miters in like I showed you earlier how to do. I have pulled the string to make this lace scallop lay down flat. I have gone all the way around the collar, as I will do. Now, if you will look at this, do you remember how the lace is a little bit floppy until I pull the string? Okay. Then I zigzag it down, and I would like to show you this beautiful lady's blouse with a scalloped collar. And those are the techniques I use, starting with just a plain platter collar. Thank you very much. Our doll dresses for this show are designed to fit German, French, and modern dolls. But you know what? You could use any one of these dresses and adapt them to any pattern for a dress for your child or a dress for yourself. Following our scallops theme for today, our beautiful raven-haired, brown-eyed doll is wearing a scalloped dress, a very lovely skirt. As you can see, the skirt has 3 levels of scallops, very, very elegantly done with gathered lace around the bottom. Traveling up the dress, I would like for you to notice the scalloping that is right around the waistline of this dress. This really makes the doll dress look as if it is a pinafore bib, and yet it isn't. This is just lace stitched down right on the dress. There is another little scallop treatment over here on the sleeve, making a very sweet little circle. And since doll dresses are so tiny, we have another little trick. I have used entredot with the silk ribbon built in for my beading. Isn't this a lovely doll dress for a beautiful doll? Almost any type of doll, I believe, would really enjoy wearing this dress. I would like to go over to the board now to show you exactly how this dress was put together. This particular board gives you the details. We've stitched it in purple thread. Most likely I'm not going to use purple thread on my lovely dresses for my French and German and modern dolls. However, that lets you see a little more easily what I've done. I've done 3 rows of scallops. All right, let's refresh your memory, if you will allow me to, one more time on folding in the scallops. All right, I put pins in the bottom of this board, pins in the bottom of the lace to hold it into that nice curve. I come up, I put a pin at the bottom, a pin at the top, and if you'll let me put my arm in front of you just a minute there, I'm going to fold it over and remove the pin at the bottom, and then I will travel this lace around to start pinning one more time, and that's the way I made all 3 of these rows of scallops. Now then, here is how you make a scallop skirt on the bottom. I stitch the scallops down, top and bottom, except on the bottom row, I stitch the top only. Now there's a reason for this. In order to make this a scallop skirt, I have to trim away this fabric. So by zigzagging the top only, then I lift up the bottom of the lace and very carefully trim away the fabric, as you can see I've done over here on this row. In other words, trim away the fabric on the bottom of the skirt. Then I have a lovely scallop skirt already, and all I have to do is butt the gathered lace to it and zigzag it together, and then my skirt will be finished, and that is simply how easy it is to make a scallop skirt on the bottom for a doll or for yourself. Today we are very privileged to have on our show as my guest Kathy Brower, who is the embroidery editor for Sew Beautiful magazine. Kathy will be sharing the tips and tricks and techniques of the very easy to do silk ribbon embroidery. Kathy, welcome.
Thank you, Martha. It's a pleasure to be on your show once again.
What particular stitch are you going to teach us today?
Well, I'm going to teach the very most versatile and easy stitch in silk ribbon. It's the Lazy Daisy stitch. And so many things can be made from this one stitch. I've brought with me a beautiful example of a doll dress, and the silk ribbon has been done directly on the lace. When you make a Lazy Daisy flower, you'll notice you'll have a hole in the middle of the flower. We usually cover that with a knot or with beautiful glass beads such as we've done here. Another example I have today is a beautiful collar done on linen with a tatting edge, and the flowers form a heart. These flowers are close together, and all of these stitches have made beautiful Lazy Daisies with the beadings in the middle. I'll go straight to showing you exactly how to do this very easy stitch. Here I've made you an example of a Lazy Daisy flower with the Lazy Daisy leaves. This has been done with a 7mm wide ribbon. This one is done with a 4mm wide ribbon, and this one with a 2mm. And as you can see, it makes different looking stitches. All you need to do, first of all, is to just start anywhere or at a beginning point in your fabric, pull the thread through. You're going to go back into the hole that you began with, in the same hole. You're going to hold your thread back and let your needle follow behind just a little bit and come back up just a little up above it. Pull your needle through. You want to wrap your thread like this. Pull it all the way through. Don't let it twist too much. Pull it to where you want it and then stick it right back down to secure that loop. And there we have a Lazy Daisy. You'll come back up in the center, and you'll start at the other one if you're going to make a Lazy Daisy flower. The wonderful thing about this stitch is it can make leaves. It can be a single rosebud. It could be the center of a rose. I'll do another stitch for you. We'll go back down in the same hole, come up a little bit further away, wrap my thread, bring it up, pull it secure, and back down. It's that easy, Martha. And
Oh, that
it's
is
very
so beautiful,
forgiving.
too.
Thank you.
You know what? I think that's what's so nice about silk ribbon embroidery. You don't have to be an expert embroiderer.
Certainly not.
And it looks beautiful every time. I think that's one of the reasons it has really caught on, and really all over the world, Kathy, silk ribbon embroidery is the thing to do now.
It really makes a beautiful embellishment on anything.
Now, do you change colors for the leaves? I guess you would change colors.
Oh, of course you would.
What about size of the ribbon? Do you change size of the ribbon for the leaves?
Yes, if you want a larger flower, you would use a larger ribbon. If you want a smaller flower or a smaller leaf, then you
Kathy,
use...
thank you so much. I think I know how to do a Lazy Daisy, and we appreciate your being here today to share with us another stitch in silk ribbon embroidery. This little pillow is fun and easy to make and ever so elegant, I believe. It's made out of a dusty blue Swiss batiste and the scallops, 4 rows of scallops. It actually has a little bit of circular lace shaping around a motif. Very easy to make this little pillow is. I'd like to show you. Let me get a little bit more detail on showing you how to actually pull these laces around in a curve. Now then, I am pulling the laces taut, not tight. And when I make a curve on scalloping lace, I'm very careful to put lots of pins in, not just a few pins. You know why? Because if you put too few pins, when I pull the little string to make this little floppy lace lie down flat, it won't be pretty around the edges. Now let me show you, let me refresh your memory one time. Pin at the top, pin at the bottom. Then I'm going to fold the lace back over on itself into the curve, remove the pin that goes through 2 layers, and make the lace travel on around. And looky there, that lovely miter is folded in. Now, how do I get this floppy lace to lie down flat? I'm going to stick a pin in the little pull cord that's built into the laces, the one that makes a scallop on the top, and then I pull it and stick a pin in the board, and it lays down just as pretty as you've ever seen. A lot of people call this Martha's magic. It really isn't Martha's magic because those strings have been built in this lace for a long time. But that's how easy it is to make a lovely scallop on any garment or pillow that you would like to make. My craft for you today is so easy. All you need is some items from your stash and a hot glue gun or else a bottle of glue. The little pin I'm going to show you how to make today would be absolutely wonderful on a jacket such as the one I have on. All right, let's go down and see what we're going to do. You can either cut a little cardboard heart or go to your craft store and purchase a little wooden heart. Either one will just be fine. Here is my paper heart pattern. I have used a handkerchief and I cut the design, the embroidery design out using the pattern, and I cut one more section of the handkerchief out using the pattern. Okay, I take the wooden heart and I have a little bit of batting that goes on the heart like this. Then I use the white linen part to cover up the batting so the batting and the heart would not show through. Then I take the embroidered part of the handkerchief, that's the third layer that goes on. And you know what? I believe I'd like to clip these curves. Since I'm going to wrap this around, I believe I'd like to clip the curves. After clipping the curves, I simply wrap it around, get ready to put a felt backing, then get a little pin from your craft store, and after I finish all of this, I can put some little buttons on to embellish. Now, I would like for you to come with me to my attic and see what kind of wonderful treasures we have there. I always look forward to sharing part of my antique clothing collection with you up here hanging on my grandmother's trunk. Since the theme of this show today has been scalloped lace, it seems appropriate that I would share with you some of my pieces which have scalloped lace. This lovely little girl's dress, which might have been a First Communion dress because it's about for a 7 or 8 or 9-year-old, has lovely scalloped lace which travels around in the 3 little panels on the front of the dress, along with some elegant hand embroidery and pin tucks. The scalloped theme is continued along the top skirt. Actually, this little dress has 2 skirts, but the scalloped theme is continued, and the top skirt is a little scalloped skirt. This is one of my very favorite pieces. Lovely lace shaping was certainly not limited to just children's clothes. This elegant petticoat for a lady, absolutely beautiful scalloping with lovely satin stitches also. The next piece I'm going to show you is a bit unusual. It is made out of cotton netting and has a little collar. Well, really, it's more like an over bodice, which has the beautiful scalloped lace, and more scallops are on the sleeve. It's been so much fun having you visit in my attic and in Martha's sewing room today. I just thank you for coming, and we have an exciting show for you next week. I would certainly like to invite you to be with us next week. And once again, we certainly do appreciate your visiting in my sewing room today.